Hey there, it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel. It is day, I don't know what. I think we're in Texas, so we're kind of coming back up off of this lockdown thing. Anyway, so as I have made like a bunch of scrub caps, not hardly any masks, but a bunch of scrub caps, I've ended up with all these pieces of selvage. Now that's not like all of them, it's just a little handful of them. And I've never done selvage stitching before, but I'm going to make a little snappy bag. Now the snappy bag, that's what this is, like this, dink, snaps closed. And the pattern is on my blog. You can download it for free, myhallcloset.com. You have to subscribe. But it's pretty simple to make, and I've got just some extra scraps left over. So what I like for in selvage, now this is not a very big bag, so it's not going to take very much, but it's kind of a good place to start. Maybe for me, since I haven't done this before. I made the snappy bags, but not the selvage ones. Anyway, so I've got some fusible fleece that I'm going to use. My patterns, I can tell you the sizes if you want, and I've got some lining fabric, just plain old, but I may go back. Actually, this is not my lining, that's my base. I'll have another pretty piece of lining, so y'all stay for that. Anyway, whenever I start doing the how to do it, I'll tell you the dimensions and stuff. Oh, the other thing you're going to need is a disassembled tape measure, okay? And you're going to need something to cut it with. Don't buy the cheap ones. Don't buy the one from Dollar Tree. They don't snap back. You're going to, maybe the dollar store, or Walmart, or the Lowe's or Home Depot. But you're going to want one that has some good snap to it for it to snap back. All right, don't go away. I've downloaded my pattern. I have my selvages and some scraps. I haven't decided what color I want to line it with yet, so I'll do that in a little bit. I have this base fabric, and so what I'm going to do, this is just a piece of cotton and a little piece of sheet that was left over of some project. Anyway, and I've got my fusible fleece, and I am going to, because I want to quilt this as I go, so I have my outer layer, and it's actually 6 by 7.5. I'm going to cut this a little bit larger so I'll have some overhang. So there is, I'm not cutting my pattern out just yet. I'm just cutting this batting a little bit larger. And this will be the front and the back because it'll fold in half because it's a little small bag. So I'm going to find the middle. This is going to be my bottom part, and then I'll go up from there. So I'm going to find the middle. I've got extra here. So find the middle on that. That's about right there. And I don't need all that little extra stuff there, so let me cut that off. And then most of this will go to the sewing machine to do, but I'm going to kind of lay it out so I can kind of get an idea, kind of get an idea about where I want my little cuts are right there. Okay, I put a pin to mark my middle, and then I have this print. I like the little dots that are on there, the little die dots. Let me scoot this down a little bit. Just pin that one, and I'll top stitch this one in place. And I may have some of this black fabric with the rose on it. It doesn't have to be that fabric, but I do have some of it, so I'm going to cut out of the middle of it, just about the width of this ruler. Not just about the width of this ruler, the width of this ruler. And so that can go right there. And I can either turn this over and stitch it down like that, or I can stick it underneath. If I don't mind the raggedy edge, and I don't mind a raggedy edge, I may just stitch it like that. Anyway, I'll know in a second when we go to the sewing machine. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this excess off because I don't need that. Cut that off. And so then I'm just going to go ahead and keep layering up my dots. Okay, I have them pinned in place, and I'll probably have to unpin a little bit of them, but we'll go ahead and get started. I've got some white in the top. I'm just going to top stitch this one. I don't have to secure this in place. This is my middle of my bottom. And I can feel that I'm fixing to go off the edge. I'll go ahead and get rid of that center pin. There we go. And I could turn it and stitch it from this side, but I'm going to go ahead and go back because I don't want to get you confused. And on this one, I could sew this, just a top stitch, a raw edge, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it like that. And I'm going to just put a little stitch in here. I'm not even going to do a 1/4 of an inch. In fact, I'm going to move my needle position over just a little bit so that it's just a really narrow stitch. Go to the edge of my presser foot, but my needle is right here, not in the middle. So now I've got that. I think this is the next one. And I want to make sure I get those little color dots in there. That's what I'm after anyway. So I could pin this. I'm going to go ahead and put back in my needle back in the middle position. Don't have to, but I'm going to. Make sure I've caught the edge of my under fabric. This side is pretty much done. I may need to add another strip, but I'll come back to that. So I'm going to turn this. I've already done, I forgot to turn my camera on. So I turned it around to do the other side. This had a little bit of fabric already peeking here. And let's see what you are. This one didn't have any color in it. It's like over here. And so it was just like empty dots. So I'm going to use that. Right in here. Just a little peek of that show. I don't have to cut the batting because the batting is already here, so it's quilted on the back side. I could use this as the back side, but this would mean that my little snap part would be this color, and I think I want something different than that. Okay, I've got this all stitched together. There's the middle of my bottom, and I'm going to make sure I get inspirations on here, and then I want to make sure I get home on here because, you know, we've had to stay at home a lot. So, and I might lose a little bit of that, but if I do, that's okay. So I'm going to come over here to the edge. I know I've got batting, and it's not really the lining, but I've got that there. Make sure that I've got that lined up. Put me a little pin. And I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors. I probably could use my rotary cutter, but I trust my scissors more. Okay, I made a little mistake. I'm going to put this video back over here as a correction thing. But don't get confused about that. I'm sorry. Anyway, I cut this off, and this actually needs a little bit of padding right in here and in here for the tape measure area. So this is actually the outer layer if you were just cutting it like normal with just regular fabric, not quilting it. And this is the pattern that's for the batting or the interfacing, like that. Okay, and so what I did is I came back in and I added a little bit of the batting right there. Batting or interfacing, either one, and right there. I cut my lining out of this little heart fabric. There's the fold. There's the fold right there. And so I cut that around, marked my center. I've got the center of my bag marked. And so pretty side goes down. And I'm also going to make my little strap out of the same heart fabric. I'm going to match my center, bottom, and center of the lining. And then we're going to go to the sewing machine. For your little strap, you can just finger press this. You can take it to the iron board if you want to, but just fold it in half. Run your thumbnail down there, and then fold it in half again. Bring the edges in to the fold. Just press that with your fingers. Same thing on the other side. And then just fold it in half, like that. And then stitch it on the edge. And you can stitch both sides if you want to. I'm just going to stitch one side. I'm going to stitch it on both sides just to hold this in place. And I'm going to go ahead and move my needle back over to the edge because it Alright, and then my pattern says to fold it down 1/4 of an inch and then down 1.5 inches, like that. So that's going to put that like that. I don't want to fold it down quite that far, so I'm going to fold in more like 1/2 inch. And then fold down because I want that little peak of that to show right there. All right, and I'm going to pin this in place. So let me get my measurements for you. So I'm folding it down. Oh look, I could use my snappy thing. Folding it down, it's about 1/2 inch down, and then it is about a 1-inch pocket, and my little ruler tape measure thing will fit in there just fine, like that. I don't know if you can see it right there. Okay, so we're turning down 1/2 inch. Pattern says 1/4 of an inch. Turn down 1/2 inch and then 1 inch down. And if you want to use a real ruler, a real measuring thing, there you go. There's 1 inch down. I'm going to do that on both sides. And that still gets the little inspirations and that sort of thing. We're going to leave this end open. It's really important to leave that end open because that's how the little ruler is going to go in. Come back to the middle with my needle. So I've taped the ends. And I've got my little pockets made. Got those taped off. I'm going to go ahead and put my little strap on this edge. I'm going to put it right in here. Put it right towards the middle. Let me go ahead and stitch that in place, and then I can take that pin back out. Alright, then I've fold this in half, fold the bag in half, match up your corners, kind of mush that little edge down at the bottom. I want to make sure that I get those kind of lined up there the way they're supposed to. The needle is back in the center position. I'm going to take a 1/4 inch seam this time. So it's going to come to the other side of that seam right there. And I'm going to go down just a little bit, stitch in, and then back up, down, and then back up again to make sure that I had those edges together. Back stitch that corner. All right, now I'm going to slide the tape measures in. So the way that this is going to do, you're going to put the curved side to the right side, and the batting part is going to be towards the back, so it's going to be underneath the tape measure. So slide that in all the way down as far as you can get it to make sure you're not going to sew over that, okay? So I'm going to turn this so you can, well, I'm not going to turn it. Curved side to the front side of your bag. The part that doesn't have any print on it faces the front. So that curved part is on in the inside. Make sure that you can feel that there's no tape measure that you're going to sew over. Again, we're going to match that top edge. I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in there just to be on the safe side. And then also then I know that I don't have tape measure underneath there. I'm going to go ahead one more time, go in just a little bit, put my needle down, put my presser foot down, get that pin out there, back up, forward, back again, and then I'm just going to be extra careful going across that. Now you can stitch this one more time if you want to. You don't have to, like down the same stitch line that we just did. You can zigzag it. I'll just stitch it and then I'll trim it close. And come right up to that edge. I'm going to do that on the other side also. Okay, now this is going to sound like bad. It's going to sound like it's breaking, but it's not going to break. Trust me. You're going to turn this right side out. Oh, clip this little corner at the bottom. Just a little bit. Probably not even enough to even fool with. Alright, I'm going to turn it right side out. Hear it cracking, cracking? That's just those little snappy tapes. Push that little corner out. And there you go. I've got me a coronavirus COVID-19 memorial snappy bag. I'm inspired. I stayed home. And where's the 2020? Did I lose my 2020? Oh, yes, I did. It was up there. I lost my 2020. Oh, well. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, be sure you give me a little thumbs up and subscribe. You can go over to myhaulcloset.com and download the pattern. And I will put a link in the description box below. And I will see you next time. Y'all stay safe, stay well. Happy sewing. Bye.